The Seoul city government has advised citizens to get vaccinated against influenza and to wear masks amid a sharp increase in flu cases among school-age children.
서울시는 최근 학령기 연령대를 중심으로 인플루엔자 환자가 빠르게 증가하고 있다며 예방접종과 마스크 착용 등 예방수칙을 실천해달라고 당부했습니다.
Yes, the flu bug is going around, Sue, so you need to be careful here. And the data supports that based on data from the city that's been announced. 50.7 out of every 1,000 people have contracted the virus in the first week of November, and that's compared with 22.8 the previous week. So it's jumped nearly double. And if you look at the age group breakdown, children age 7 to 12, that rate goes up to 138.1. And even younger infants from 1 to 6-year-old, 82.1 per 1,000 as well. So the best bet is to get vaccinated if you haven't yet. Go to your public clinic or hospital. And of course, to mitigate serious symptoms, wear masks and wash your hands regularly. Just basic things that we've been told time and time again, especially during the COVID pandemic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Basic hygiene.
Yes, 맞아요. 기본적인 청결 유지 잘해야겠죠. 손 잘 씻고 마스크 착용 필요하면은 하고요. 자, 지금 1,000명 중에 50명 정도 꼴로 독감 환자가 발생하고 있습니다. 그 전주에는 22명이었거든요. 그러니까 2배 이상 늘었다라고 볼 수 있겠는데 특히 학령기 아이들 그러니까 몇 살부터 몇 살까지라 그랬죠?
7 to 12 is the highest age bracket, 138.1 per 1,000.
그러니까 초등학교 다니는 나이대의 아이들로부터 지금 가장 높은 이제 환자 수가 나오고 있습니다. 1,000명 중에 138명꼴로 독감 환자가 나오고 있어요. Because of that, city officials are advising citizens to get vaccinated.
Yes, that is their suggestion or their recommendation, their guidance on what people should do to prevent the spread of the flu. And to advise as a verb, advise, right? As a noun, it would be advice.
Yep.
So the pronunciation is clearly different there.
With a C.
With a C, yes, without an S.
자, 동사일 때는 S가 들어가고요. 그 다음에 부드럽게 advise 이렇게 발음을 해요. 권고하다, 권유하다. 근데 우리가 명사 형태 잘 알고 있잖아요. advice. 이때는 센 발음이고 C를 씁니다. What about amid?
Yeah, amid, A-M-I-D, would mean in the middle of doing something, right? And it's often used with amidst, is also the same word.
Sure.
A-M-I-D-S-T. That's more formal. It's probably older. It's more poetic language, but they're used interchangeably. But it means in the middle of something, during something, or surrounded by something.
Yeah,
right?
the word mid is in there. So
Yes.
middle, mid.
Exactly.
가운데라는 뜻의 어원이 그 안에 들어가 있죠. amid, A-M-I-D라 그러면은 어떤 상황 중에 라는 뜻입니다.
Yeah. And I think the best measure, of course, if you have the flu is to stay home and rest. And try not to spread it to other people. I know it's hard for children or if you go to work, to the office. But really, otherwise, you get this big flu sort of epidemic.
Exactly. The problem, of course, practically speaking, is that if, say, a child is sick with the flu and have to stay home, then one of the parents will also have to stay home.
Yeah.
And so there's all these other steps you have to take. Then you have to call in sick at work because of your child, of course. And you know, there's all these ripple effects. And not everyone can take time off work.
They don't have the luxury to do that. And I feel like that's coming from personal experience almost.
Yes.
But
and so you need to get help in that case from relatives or friends. And it's not an easy thing. I mean, theoretically speaking.
But for children and the elderly, especially when their immune systems are probably a little more compromised than others, right?
Exactly. Well, here's the headline one more time. The Seoul city government has advised citizens to get vaccinated against influenza and to wear masks amid a sharp increase in flu cases among school-aged children. Let's move on to the next headline.
The number of people in their 20s and 30s with 4-year college degrees and have been unemployed for more than 6 months has surged to its highest level in 13 months, according to the Ministry of Data and Statistics.
4년제 대학교 졸업 이상의 학력을 가진 국내 20, 30대 중 구직 활동을 6개월 이상 했는데도 일자리를 구하지 못한 장기 실업자 수가 13개월 만에 최대치를 기록했다고 국가 데이터처가 발표했습니다.
Yeah, this is a troubling statistic here in terms of jobs because last month, according to the data, a total of 119,000 people were unemployed for more than 6 consecutive months. So we call that long-term unemployment, right? The total number of unemployed was 658,000. So that's about 18% of all unemployed people, or about 1 in 5, haven't been able to find a job for more than 6 months. And that's even troubling if you look at the age breakdown with people in their 20s and 30s with at least a 4-year college degree. 35,000 people still are looking for work. So there's this big mismatch in the job market in terms of people looking for work and the supply of positions available for these people.
I guess in a way it's sort of like there's a pyramid and people want the ones at the top of the pyramid where there aren't many job opportunities. And then there are jobs sort of down the pyramid where there are actually job openings, but not a lot of 20s and 30s want those jobs.
So there's a mismatch in terms of supply and demand, you could even call it.
Sure.
You know, in a very rudimentary sort of breakdown, if you look at this in a very basic way, there's an oversupply, basically, of highly educated talent, but there's just not there's not enough positions to accommodate these people.
Yeah. Well, in Korea, most universities are 4-year colleges or 4-year universities. Let's have a look at 4-year college degrees.
So when we say a 4-year college degree, we're talking about a sort of standard undergraduate degree.
Yes.
Takes about 4 years of time, full-time study to complete it. You can also say a bachelor's degree, right?
Sure.
So people with a bachelor's degree, an undergraduate degree, when you see job openings or job listings, the description will require possibly a minimum of a 4-year college degree.
Right. I know a lot of universities in the UK are 3-year universities because they have different semesters and the way the school works is different. How about in the US and Canada?
I've never heard of a 3-year degree program.
Okay.
I've heard of people who graduate in 3 years, but they're still, you know, if they take extra credit or if they take summer classes and things like that. But typically 4 years. You do have...
Okay, so it's the same as Korea then?
Yeah. So they're actual 3-year programs?
But I mean, I didn't go to university in the UK, so I don't know firsthand, but I have read, you know, looking at all different schools, that there are many schools in the UK where they have, let's say, 3 semesters a year or maybe 2.5 semesters a year. And so overall, they have less breaks, but then you end earlier. So it might be like a 3-year course. I guess there could be a 4-year course, but
Interesting.
It seems like,
So they'd be called trimesters, I'm imagining, possibly.
I
mean, it depends on the school.
No,
but
I don't think they call them trimesters.
They don't call them trimesters,
no,
okay.
They just
I guess
call them terms.
That's more for if you're pregnant.
Yes.
They call them trimesters.
Yeah,
yes.
Exactly. And then the terms for schools are different in different cultures as well.
Of course.
So in Korea, we use university and college kind of interchangeably, but in many English-speaking countries, namely Commonwealth countries, a college can be something quite different.
Right. I think there's an understanding here. Sometimes when I speak to people, they think colleges are in some way inferior to universities in that they're more 2-year technical type of schools. But
could be, but not always.
But a college usually is a school within a university, right? Because a university might have a college of education, a college of nursing, college of engineering. So it depends on the school, depends on the culture, but there are slight differences, I think.
The school that I did an exchange at, Australian National University in Canberra, I was there for a year, and at that school, the dormitories were called colleges.
Oh.
But the dormitories also acted as a sort of academic base where you could get tutoring from the students within the dormitory, because you're not just eating and sleeping there, you're actually studying there as well. So they had, study areas as well, and each of the different dormitories were called colleges. So that term was very different in that case.
So it's the actual school. Everything is housed within that building, perhaps?
Everything,
right.
Okay. The dormitories were inside the school campus, and they were called colleges. So that's a different usage of the word as well. In the UK, where I went to school up until the end of high school, the next school after high school was a college, but that was the Korean equivalent of a 고등학교.
Oh.
So I went to high school, but that would be the Korean equivalent of a 중학교.
Right.
So the names and everything can be different, is what I'm saying.
The terminology is different, right?
I don't want to confuse anyone,
Right.
but I'm just trying to say that the terminologies and the definitions can be very different.
You've left me with more questions than answers.
Oh,
Sue.
no, I'm so
now I'm
sorry.
going to have to
I'm
look into this
sorry,
Australian
Shane.
education
Oh,
system.
dear.
And
All right. 4-year college degrees.
yes, in any case.
All right. Now, what about to surge?
Yeah, if something surges, it's rising very quickly, right? Suddenly or even powerfully. Things like electricity or currents can be surging if they go up.
Exactly.
Right.
급증하는 것을 surging이라고 합니다. 전력량이 이렇게 늘어나는 거. 우리 여름에 항상 에어컨 많이 쓰다 보니까 electricity demand surges. 겨울에는 또 난방을 또 많이 써서 그러기도 하고요.
Right. You also have those power strips. They're often called surge protectors for your computer. In case there's a sudden surge of electric current, it could actually damage your computer. So a lot of them have that function. So
interesting.
some people call them surge protectors. Yeah.
그렇군요. 네. surge. 자, 다시 한번 제가 읽어보겠습니다. The number of people in their 20s and 30s with 4-year college degrees and have been unemployed for more than 6 months has surged to its highest level in 13 months, according to the Ministry of Data and Statistics.
Consumers in the U.S. are reporting smaller quantities or less quality in some products in what's been described as sneakflation, a tactic used as a subtle way for companies to pass on their costs without changing the price of goods.
미국 소비자들이 일부 제품에서 양이 줄거나 품질이 저하되는 이른바 sneakflation 현상을 겪는 것으로 알려졌습니다. 이는 기업들이 가격 변동 없이 눈에 보이지 않는 방식으로 소비자에게 비용 부담을 전가하는 전략으로 풀이됩니다.
Yes. So this isn't a strategy that's new. Whenever you see prices or the cost of things go up, companies will do this because they don't want to do anything for a loss. But there's a big difference between sneakflation and you may have heard the word shrinkflation as well, right?
Tell us the difference.
The biggest difference is shrinkflation is that companies keep the same price, but the quantity or the size decreases.
Yeah, I think we've seen this with potato chips, for example,
Yes.
convenience stores. 같은 가격인데 왠지 사이즈가 더 작아진 것 같은 감자칩. 이건 shrinkflation이죠.
That's shrinkflation. For example, a chocolate bar used to weigh maybe 100 grams, could weigh 85 grams.
Exactly.
Perhaps, right? So
맞아요.
you don't really see it. Sneakflation is a little different. So companies keep the same price, but the quality or the ingredients or some of the features might decrease. So you're getting less of something, but not necessarily the volume of it. Right?
그러니까 예를 들자면 초콜릿바가 사이즈도 똑같고 가격도 똑같은데요. 초콜릿 함량이 줄어들었어요. 예를 들자면 코코아 함량이 예전에는 50%였는데 지금은 뭐 30%다 이런 식으로. 근데 실제로 요즘에는 코코아 함량이 하나도 없는 초콜릿바도 있대요. 사실 그래서
Is that chocolate then?
그냥 이제 초콜릿 맛을 내는 artificial flavoring을 넣어가지고 왜냐하면 코코아가 너무 구하기 힘들고 비싸고 이래서 뭐 그런 제품까지 있다라는 걸 어디 기사에서 본 적이 있는 것 같은데 그런 거는 이제 품질이 저하가 된 거죠. 사이즈는 그대로고 가격도 그대로지만 sneakflation.
Another example would be cosmetics or skincare products that use cheaper ingredients, possibly, but the bottle and the packaging all stay the same. Another one that these days streaming services might actually keep the price the same, but they might remove certain titles from it. They might remove 4K access, for example, things like that. So these are all examples of sneakflation as opposed to shrinkflation. Because if you're sneaky, you're being very sly, right? You're trying to avoid being noticed or getting attention.
sneaky, 교묘하다는 뜻이거든요. 그래서 sneakflation이 shrinkflation보다 좀 더 교묘한 방식으로 품질을 저하시키거나 아니면은 기존에 무료였던 서비스를 유료화한다든지 아니면은 뭐 부대 요금을 추가한다든지 하는 그런 방식입니다. Alright, so we're talking about subtle ways of making the quality go down.
Right, because they want consumers not to notice, right?
Yeah.
They're being very subtle. SUBTLE. B-T-L-E. That B is silent. It's so subtle that you can't even hear the B because it's silent, right?
Yep.
So something that's not obvious or very hard to notice is subtle.
subtle 아니고요. B가 들어가 있긴 한데 B 발음하지 않아요. 그래서 subtle 이렇게 발음을 합니다.
Right. Rhymes with shuttle.
Yes, shuttle,
Subtle.
subtle, 네, 다 라임이 되네요. 눈에 잘 띄지 않는다라는 뜻이 있어요. 그래서 그런 방식으로 가격은 그대로 유지를 하죠. The reason, of course, they keep the prices the same is because consumers react very, very quickly to
Yes.
prices. If there's even a little bit of a price increase, there will immediately be some sort of backlash.
Right.
People will say, oh, no, I don't want to buy it because it's expensive.
Right.
But if you keep the prices, it's more likely they'll continue to buy it.
Very sneaky. Sneaky.
Very sneaky.
Yes.
So the company is still passing on the costs to the consumers.
Right, exactly, because they are paying more costs for possibly the raw materials.
Yep.
So what they do is they pass on the costs, meaning they're transferring that expense from one party to another, from the business to the customer. So ultimately the consumer pays the increased cost. So when you pass on something, you're transferring it. There's a famous saying, passing the buck. The buck stops here. I think it was President Truman saying that the president takes all the responsibility. But if you pass the buck, that means you're kind of sharing
The responsibility
with someone, right?
자, pass something on, 전가한다. So passing on the cost라는 것은 비용 부담을 이 경우에는 소비자에게 전가한다는 의미. 다시 읽어보겠습니다. Consumers in the US are reporting smaller quantities or less quality in some products in what's being described as sneakflation, a tactic used as a subtle way for companies to pass on their costs without changing the price of goods. Here's our next headline.
A gold pocket watch recovered from the body of one of the richest passengers on the Titanic is set to go under the hammer and is expected to become one of the most expensive artifacts recovered from the ill-fated vessel ever sold.
타이타닉호에서 가장 부유한 승객 중 한 명의 소유였던 금시계가 경매에 붙여질 예정인 가운데 이 시계는 지금까지 판매된 타이타닉호 회수 유물 중 가장 높은 수준의 낙찰가를 기록하게 될 것으로 보입니다.
Yeah, so the original owner of this gold watch was a gentleman by the name of Isidore Strauss, and he was a U.S. businessman.
Yeah.
And he was also the co-owner of Macy's, the famous Macy's department store.
Wow.
So he was obviously a very rich individual back in the day, but his body was actually recovered from the Atlantic just a couple of days after the disaster. And among his possessions was this 18-karat gold pocket watch.
18 carats?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
The gold. So
Wow.
the watch, when it was recovered, stopped at exactly 2:20 a.m., which was the exact moment that the Titanic disappeared or submerged into the waves. So pretty scary stuff there. But it was returned to his family, but it's been passed down through generations. His great-grandson actually repaired the watch and had it restored, but now it's up for auction. And what people are expecting is up to 1.9 billion won. £1 million is what they're expecting it to fetch at auction.
그래요. 우리 돈으로 약 19억 원의 낙찰이 될 것으로 예상이 되고요. 예, 18캐러트 금시계가 되겠습니다.
Yeah.
그게 이제 침몰하자마자 시계가 멈춰섰기 때문에 타이타닉호가 침몰했던 정확한 시각이 지금까지도 그대로 유지가 되고 있는 거죠. 그때가 새벽 2시 20분이었군요.
When it was recovered, but it's been since repaired and restored by the great-grandson.
지금은
so
이제
I believe it's actually
작동을
functioning.
해요?
Yeah, it's functioning, I imagine. Yeah.
그렇군요. 자, 그러면 우리 경매하면은 꼭 나오는 표현 보겠습니다. To
Yeah.
go under the hammer.
Yeah, it basically means it's going up for auction because we're talking, when you talk about the hammer, we're talking specifically about the auctioneer's gavel,
Yeah.
right? We call it a gavel, G-A-V-E-L. So if something goes under the hammer, it's being used metaphorically to say something's being offered for sale.
You know, the thing that judges use, is
Yes.
that also called a gavel?
That's also the gavel. Also, the Speaker of the House or the Speaker of the National Assembly
Yep.
uses a gavel.
They're all called gavels.
Yes,
They
I
look
imagine.
like hammers.
Yes.
That's why we call it that. But it's technically not a hammer. To go under the hammer라는 비유적인 표현은요. 망치 아래에 내려져 있다. 이렇게 직역을 할 수 있을 텐데 사실은 망치가 아니죠. 이 판사봉 같은 거, 옥셔닝하는 봉을 얘기하는 건데 모양이 망치 같다고 해서 to go under the hammer라고 합니다. 자, 그 다음에 ill-fated.
Yes, to describe the Titanic is such a great description of something ill-fated, meaning that it was unlucky, it was destined to fail or ending in disaster because fate, right, is the ending of that. So any misfortune or failure, likely from the start, like the Titanic, we describe as ill-fated.
그래요. 불운하다, ill-fated. It means it had bad luck, basically.
Unfortunately.
다시 읽어보겠습니다. A gold pocket watch, recovered from the body of one of the richest passengers on the Titanic, is set to go under the hammer and is expected to become one of the most expensive artifacts recovered from the ill-fated vessel ever sold. Let's move on to the final headline.
An English amateur golfer in her mid-70s has made 3 holes-in-one in a month, an achievement so rare that the odds of doing it are estimated at 1 in 1.95 trillion, according to the England Golf Association.
영국의 한 70대 아마추어 골퍼가 홀인원을 한 달 새 3차례나 기록했습니다. 잉글랜드 골프협회는 이 기록이 나올 확률이 약 1조 9,500억 분의 1로 추정될 정도로 대단히 드문 것이라고 발표했습니다.
Yeah, so I don't know. This golfer should go buy a lottery ticket. She seems actually it doesn't even seem like luck if you do it this often. It might be a little skill involved as well, but anyone that's ever played golf knows that a hole-in-one, if you're lucky, you might do it once in your lifetime. The odds, if you look up the odds for an amateur golfer of hitting a hole-in-one is 1 in 12,500. So you need to play a lot of golf to actually try and hit a hole-in-one. But this woman did it 3 times in 1 month. And she took up the sport at the age of 58. So she hasn't been playing golf her whole life. But she just said, the holes-in-one have just come along a bit like buses. But for me, it's just about having fun.
It's like a bus.
Very casual about this. But
and very British as well. Because British people are very modest and humble.
Yeah. So, like I said, believe it or not, if you ever play golf, a hole-in-one is not the most rarest achievement. There's a thing called an albatross, which doesn't happen as often. It's harder to do. It's harder than a hole-in-one. But in any case, congratulations to this woman. Pretty amazing. Lightning doesn't strike twice, they say, but for her, it actually struck 3 times.
Yeah, absolutely. 정말 영국인답게 굉장히 겸손하다는 생각이 들고요. 인터뷰에서도 아니 어떻게 이렇게 한 달 새 3번이나 홀인원을 하셨어요? 그랬더니 그냥 운이죠. 뭐 버스가 지나갔을 때 내가 그 버스를 그냥 잘 타듯이 그냥 내가 원하는 버스가 지나가듯이 그냥 내가 원하는 홀인원이 3번 연속 왔네요. 이런 식으로. 상당히 좀 뭐라 그럴게 downplaying을 했던 것 같아요. 자신의 실력을. Okay, this is a great achievement. Let's have a look at the word achievement.
Yeah, an achievement. It's an accomplishment, right? Something that takes effort or skill. For her, it's a personal milestone in a sporting achievement, but you can have achievement in any area, in academics, professionally, things like that.
성취, 달성, achievement. And what about the odds of something?
Yeah, when we talk about the odds, we're talking about the probability or the likelihood of something to happen. If you're a bettor or a gambler, you talk about odds, the chances of something happening. And we use it in this case of the odds of ing a lot of times, right? Like I said, the odds of lightning striking twice is very, very low. Yeah, in that case.
odds라는 게 확률이란 뜻이 있어요. 가능성. So the odds of this happening are 1 in, what was it, 1.95 trillion. 그래서 1 in 뭐뭐뭐라고 하는 게 몇 분의 1이라는 의미가 되겠습니다.
Yeah, and I do want to point out one other expression in this headline is hole-in-one. The plural form of hole-in-one is not hole-in-ones. It's holes-in-one. And we see this a lot with hyphenated things like, for example, brother-in-law. If you have 2 brother-in-law, it's not brother-in-laws, it's brothers-in-law, technically. Okay. Attorney general, it should be attorneys general instead of attorney generals. Another common one, passerby. Plural would be passers-by instead of passerbys.
Right. That can be confusing, but
in any case.
Yeah, the rule is to pluralize the word that specifies the person, the first word. All right, well, here's the headline again. An English amateur golfer in her mid-70s has made 3 holes in one in a month, an achievement so rare that the odds of doing it are estimated at 1 in 1.95 trillion, according to the England Golf Association.
Temperatures across the nation have plunged to the low single digits, with many areas, including Seoul, recording their lowest morning readings so far this season.
전국 기온이 한 자릿수 초반대로 급락한 가운데 서울을 포함한 많은 지역이 올 가을 들어 가장 낮은 아침 기온을 기록했습니다. Is it really still autumn? I don't know. I think it's kind of like we've stepped into winter.
We're certainly on the borderline of it, I think.
Yeah. It's cold anyway.
Well, yesterday was less cold than it is today.
Yes.
And that's the thing. Because yesterday in Seoul, we were looking at average morning temperatures down to 3 degrees Celsius. The wind chill made it to 0. In other areas around Seoul and in other provinces, it was dipping to around 1 degree. But this morning, if you've ventured outside the house or you've opened your window, you'll know it's even colder. Here in Ilsan and also in Seoul, it's a morning low of -3. So yes, very much a wintry sort of temperature.
네, 그래요. 어제랑 최고 기온은 비슷한 것 같은데 최저 기온이 뚝 떨어졌습니다. 지역에 따라서 차이가 있겠지만 대략적으로 한 5도 정도 어제보다 최저 기온이 떨어져서 오늘 아침에 굉장히 쌀쌀하게 느껴지셨을 것 같고요. 오후에는 어제 정도 수준으로 기온이 조금 오르기는 하겠습니다만 네, 오늘 특히 이제 동해안 쪽으로 해서 굉장히 추운 지역이 많습니다. 오늘.
Of course.
네.
Yeah,
서울도 영하고요.
I think it's time to watch out for your plants. If you've got lovely plants on your balcony, or if you have a garden or a yard, time to get them inside or wrapped up.
Yeah, exactly. Some cold warnings. Not cold warnings. What's the word for it? 한파주의보. That would be like cold snap warnings.
A cold snap warning, yes.
But nonetheless, we have warnings and advisories issued across some areas in the country this morning because it is very cold. The temperatures have plunged.
They have plunged like a diver, diving off the diving board into water, going down very quickly and very deeply. This is when we use the word plunge. It's going to mean a very speedy descent.
Yeah.
So we can use it for temperatures, we can use it for stock prices, or we can use it in the literal physical sense of a diver plunging into water or a toilet plunger plunging into the toilet.
Yeah. I love swimming.
Yes.
But in this weather, I wouldn't fancy plunging into a pool, especially if it's outdoors.
You don't fancy a cold plunge?
No. I know some people do it.
Some people like to take the plunge.
Now that's a good expression.
Yes.
제가 지금 얘기한 거는 literal meaning, 말 그대로 수영장에서 이렇게 입수하는 것을 얘기했는데요. 그것도 plunging이거든요.
네.
그런데 지금 선생님이 얘기한 거는 너무나 좋은 관용구죠. Take the plunge.
Yeah.
What does that mean figuratively?
It just means to try, to be brave and do something maybe you're scared of. So, for example, around New Year, there are some countries where people will go to the beach and they will plunge into the cold water. But to do that, you have to be willing to take the plunge, to be brave enough.
You take the plunge to plunge into the water. 자, take the plunge는 어려운 일에 도전한다는 뜻이 있어요. 그런데 실제로 이제 새해 첫날에 해외에서는 차가운 바닷물에 이렇게 뛰어드는 이런 풍습이 있는 지역들도 있고 우리나라도 몇몇 지역에서 이렇게 하거든요. 그거를 뭐라고 하더라? 뭐 polar bear 아니면 뭐 penguin dive.
I think polar bear is often used with getting in the water in New Year's.
I knew it was one of those wintry animals. 그래서 이제 그것을 도전한다라고 만약 말한다면은 직접적인 의미의 plunge 입수도 하고 그 다음에 이런 비유적인 의미의 take the plunge도 같이 문장 속에서 쓸 수 있을 것 같아요. So you could take the plunge and plunge into the sea on New Year's Day.
But be careful if the temperature plunges too deeply, too low.
Exactly. 그래요. Have you ever jumped into the ocean on New Year's Day?
No, I mean I've plunged into cold water a few times, but never at New Year's.
Okay. 그래요. Plunge. 자, 여기서 기온 얘기니까 아시겠죠? 뚝 떨어졌다. What about reading? We're not talking about books here, are we?
No, we're talking about the noun, taking a reading, getting a reading. And this is getting the result of something.
Right.
So when we use a thermometer or a machine that's testing something, when we get the results, that's the reading. That's the information that we are literally reading from the machine or from the device.
Let me very quickly have a look at the temperature outside our EBS studio right now.
What's the reading, Sue?
reading is -3 degrees.
Yeah. So you'll find this used a lot when we're getting the results of something, where we're testing something or finding something out. Even if you go and get your fortune told, you can have a tarot reading.
아, 그래요. 여기서 reading은 명사인데 책 읽는 거랑 아무 상관이 없고요. 이 수치를 읽는다는 컨셉에서 나온 표현이에요. 그래서 그냥 수치 아니면은 지금 말한 것처럼 뭐 운세 이런 것들도 다 사실은 뭔가 읽어가지고 한다라고 영어식으로는 표현하거든요. Mind reading도 읽는다고 하고요. 머릿속에 있는 걸 이제
Oh, sure, but that's the verb form as opposed to the noun.
그건 좀 다르네요.
네.
그래요. 그럴 수 있겠고. A reading이라는 게 여기서는 그래서 기온, 수치를 얘기하고 있습니다. 자, 그러면은 다시 한번 제가 읽어볼게요. Temperatures across the nation have plunged to the low single digits, with many areas, including Seoul, recording their lowest morning readings so far this season. Let's move on.
An international food standards body has added kimchi cabbage as the official international standard name for the type of cabbage used to make kimchi, with government officials noting the decision will help solidify Korea's status as the dish's home and place of origin.
국제식품규격위원회가 김치의 세계 규격의 주 원료인 배추 명칭으로 김치 배추를 추가 등재했습니다. 정부 관계자는 이번 결정으로 김치의 본고장이자 원산지인 한국의 위상이 더욱 확고해질 것으로 전망했습니다. This makes me so happy as a Korean person because so far, whenever I try to explain the ingredients of kimchi, the main vegetable, I would have to say Napa cabbage or Chinese cabbage.
Yeah.
But now I can just say kimchi cabbage.
Yes, I think it's great. This is always the difficulty with translating words. For example, it's the way that we say bechu in Korea is going to mean the cabbage we use for making kimchi and all sorts of things, as opposed to 양배추,
Yes,
the Western cabbage.
that's right.
But in the UK, if you say cabbage, we think of the 양배추.
맞습니다. 영어에서는 cabbage 하면은 우리가 생각하는 양배추가 되겠죠. 그래서 우리의 배추를 설명할 때는 오히려 영어에서는 뭔가 하나 수식어를 덧붙여야 되는데 그동안에는 Chinese cabbage, Napa cabbage 이렇게 이제 통용이 됐었단 말이에요. 근데 이제는 그냥 kimchi cabbage.
Yeah.
이렇게 불러도 돼요.
So now we have all three.
좋아.
Both Napa cabbage and kimchi cabbage
I
were
love that.
added along with Chinese cabbage as the official names for this ingredient. It's in this most fantastic thing, the Codex Alimentarius. It's part of the commission, and that means the food code. It's done by the United Nations, the Food and Agricultural Organization there. And the idea is to set international standards so that everybody knows what's going on. And then as long as governments accept it, it will pass. And it was decided at the official assembly, the 48th General Assembly last week. And next up, seaweed.
김?
Yeah, it's the international standard for kim or dried seaweed. At the moment, it's only under Asian regional standards, but because it's eaten all over the place, it's loved by many people. I think that's going to be the next thing we'll hear about when it comes to the Codex Alimentarius.
그래요. 여전히 나파 캐비지라는 표현은 많이 쓰이기는 하는데
네.
이제 여기다가 김치 캐비지라는 영어식 표현까지 추가가 된 모습입니다. This is going to solidify Korea's status.
Yes, and if we solidify something, we make it solid, we make it firmer, we make it stronger, we clarify it. So it's the idea of making something certain or making something clear. So we can solidify a status, we can solidify a position, we can solidify an idea, anything that is made stronger, firmer, clearer.
네. 단단하게 하다, 확고히 하다 이런 것들을 다 solidify라고 합니다. solid라는 게 원래 이제 고체라는 뜻이 있어서 그렇게 단단하게 한다라는 동사 solidify 한국의 위상을 이렇게 굳힌다 이렇게 볼 수 있겠고요. How about place of origin?
Well, place of origin is where something comes from, where it originates from.
Sure,
because when we talk about the origin of something, that's where it comes from. So, for example, where did you get this kimchi? Place of origin, Korea.
아하, 원산지가 되겠네요.
네.
다시 읽어보겠습니다. An international food standards body has added kimchi cabbage as the official international standard name for the type of cabbage used to make kimchi, with government officials noting the decision will help solidify Korea's status as the dish's home and place of origin.
A bear measuring almost 1 meter in length was shot dead after entering a shopping mall in Akita Prefecture, Japan, prompting staff to evacuate the building and use shelves to block its escape.
일본 아키타현의 한 쇼핑몰에 길이 약 1m의 곰 한 마리가 들어와 사살 조치됐습니다. 사건 당시 쇼핑몰 직원들은 가구 등을 이용해 곰을 가두고 현장에서 즉시 대피한 것으로 알려졌습니다. I didn't know they had bears in Japan.
They have more than you think. And we're very lucky that no one, apart from, sadly, the bear, was harmed. Because if we look at this year, between April and October this year, there were 196 people either injured or killed in Japan due to bear attacks.
Really?
Wild bear attacks. 37 just in October, just last month. So there is a danger from bears in certain wooded and mountainous regions. And this bear, it was reported by the mall staff that it came in about 11 a.m. It was in the furniture display area. They managed to shoot it with an anesthetic dart and then euthanize it.
Okay.
And nobody was harmed. But this is a serious thing that does happen. We're very lucky in Korea that we don't have to worry so much about bear attacks.
Yeah, not really.
Wild boar attacks certainly do happen.
Yes.
But in Japan, bears are a real thing and a real danger.
bears하고 boars가 발음이 약간 비슷한 것처럼 들리지만 boar는 멧돼지죠.
네.
자, 그러면 measure 한번 보도록 하겠습니다. A bear measuring about a meter.
Yes, if we say something is measuring something, that is its length, its height, its time, it's whatever we're measuring.
맞아요. 측정한다.
It's a way of looking at the distance, the time, the temperature, or something else.
맞아요. 영어에서는 길이를 잴 때도, 무게를 잴 때도 이런 거 다 이제 measuring 뭐뭐뭐 한다라고 표현할 수 있어요. 그래서 여기서 a bear measuring about 1 meter in length 그러면은 길이를 얘기하는 거겠죠. 우리가 또 이제 줄자를 영어로는 measuring tape라고 해요. 네. 길이를 재는 자니까. 자, 다음으로 prompt.
Yes, if someone or something is prompted to do something else, that means they are either suggested to do that or they are forced to do it. Something is making them do it in some way.
뭐뭐 하게 만든다라는 뜻이 있어요. 그래서 이제 실제로 지시를 주어가지고 하게 만들 수도 있고요. 제가 선생님한테 이렇게 지금 얘기하세요. 이렇게 지시를 줄 수도 있는데
네.
사실 우리 PD님이 그렇게 지시를 해주시거든요. 뭐 조금 더 빨리, 느리게, 지금 뭐 이런 거 이제 해주신단 말이에요. 컨덕터처럼.
아 그래요?
굉장히 바쁘세요.
몰랐네.
몰랐어요? She's not just there to watch us.
But I always look at you, Sue.
그런데 이제 그런 직접적인 이렇게 지시를 줘서 프롬프팅하는 것도 있을 수 있지만 상황이 우리 누군가를 뭐 하게끔 만들 때도
네.
프롬프팅한다라고 얘기하는 건데 그런 거죠. 곰이 갑자기 나타나서 That situation prompted staff to evacuate. 그래서 상황상 거기 있었던 사람들이 대피를 하게 됐습니다.
Yeah, and you know in the theatre we have a prompter.
You do?
Yes.
In theatre?
Well, traditionally speaking, the prompter
Yeah.
would prompt the actors if they forgot their lines. They
Yeah.
would be sitting either under the
Like
stage
on
or side of
On the
stage.
TV news.
Yeah, we have a news prompter, which gives you your lines to say. Yes.
I didn't know that theatre had that as well.
But back in the old days, nowadays we are forced to learn all our lines.
What happens if you forget?
We get fired.
옛날에는 연극을 할 때도 앞에 프롬프터를 두고
아니 사람이요.
이게 종이로 드는 거예요?
아니
그러면?
종이 말고 그냥
그러면?
위스퍼링 하는 거예요.
근데 그 사람을 프롬프터라고 불렀어요?
Yes, they were the prompter. They would prompt you if you forgot your line.
인간 프롬프터구나.
네.
우리 이제 뉴스 할 때 여러분도 뭐 방송이 어떻게 되는지 다 좀 아실 것 같은데요. TV 뉴스는 보통 앞에 프롬프터가 있단 말이에요.
네.
그래서 화면처럼 생긴 건데 거기에 이제 뉴스에 무슨 얘기 해야 되는지 원고 내용이 여기 있죠. 물론 즉흥적으로 브레이킹 뉴스 같은 경우에는 속보 전할 때는 뭐 프롬프터 아무것도 상관없이 알아서 해야 되지만 그런 것도 프롬프터예요. 뭐 하게끔 하는 말하게끔 하는 거니까. 자, 다시 한번 그러면 읽어보겠습니다. A bear measuring almost 1 meter in length was shot dead after entering a shopping mall in Akita Prefecture, Japan, prompting staff to evacuate the building and use shelves to block its escape. Now let's move on to the next headline.
A groundbreaking study by Israeli scientists has identified a unique subset of immune cells that actively maintain a healthy, age-appropriate immune system, offering new ways to track and support healthy aging.
이스라엘 연구진이 우리 몸의 면역 체계를 건강하고 나이에 맞게끔 적극적으로 유지하는 역할을 하는 특별한 보조 T세포를 찾아냈습니다. 이로써 앞으로 건강한 노화를 추적 및 지원하는 새로운 방법들이 가능할 것으로 보입니다. Okay, what's this T cell?
Yeah, well, these T cells are basically protectors and cleaners. What they do is they clean out the cells related to aging. So we have these senescent cells that build up as we get older, but they maintain your balance in the immune system by clearing them away. The thing is, if you get rid of them, which is what they've done in these experiments, it accelerates aging. It shortens your lifespan. So therefore, they've been able to identify these special T cells that need to be boosted or need to be protected. So if we have them and if they're working well, potentially they could slow down aging. So that could lower the risk of age-related illnesses. It could lower the risk of chronic inflammation. It could also perhaps slow tissue deterioration. So we could literally age slower.
Yeah, I have a question for you, a vocab question.
Oh, no.
I mean, I know the word aging. I think we all know it very well.
Yes.
노화, aging. You used a word that means the same thing, but it sounds very difficult. Senescent?
Yes.
That also means to do with growing old and aging, right?
Yes, exactly, yes. And we use it in biological terms. I remember reading about octopuses, about their mating cycle and birth cycle. And after the female octopus gives birth, it enters a senescence period where basically it starts to deteriorate and die.
Oh, wow.
So, yes. So we don't use this term so much. You don't need to worry about it too much. Aging is the most common term we use. That's the one you really need to remember.
All right, let's have a look at some other terms. Now, actually, can you give us the spelling of that word? Because it is an unfamiliar word, I think, for most people.
Sure. Senescent. Senescent.
It means to do with aging or deteriorating. That's a new word for me, I have to say. All right, let's have a look at identifying.
Yes, so you just identified a word you were not familiar with.
Yeah.
You found it. You picked it out. Because that's what identify means. In the same way that if you witness a crime, the police will ask you to identify the criminal. They'll say, which one was it, Sue? Was it that guy over there, that woman over there, or that man in the corner?
Exactly. 자, identify는 찾아내다, 감별하다, 식별하다의 의미가 있을 수도 있고요. 여기서 말하는 것은 찾다. 여기 심플한 의미로 보시면 되겠습니다. 과학자들이 이러한 세포를 찾아냈으니까. Now, what's age appropriate?
Well, in this case, we're talking about your immune system, meaning it's the right age for you. If something is age appropriate, it's suitable for your age. In normal parlance, in normal talk, we would use it more for things that are suitable for children. So we'll talk about, is this movie age appropriate?
Right.
I think, for example, Harry Potter, when that became a huge hit, many parents were wondering, my kid is 7, are the movies age appropriate for them or not?
Right, exactly. Age appropriate는 그 연령대에 맞다라는 뜻이 있어요. So it's not just movies, it could be toys,
it could be
books, whatever.
For adults, the clothes you wear. Is a leather jacket age appropriate for a granddad?
그러니까요. 이제 옷도 이게 나이에 맞는 옷이야 이렇게 말할 수 있겠죠. Is this age appropriate? 이렇게 말할 수도 있어요. 다시 읽어보겠습니다. A groundbreaking study by Israeli scientists has identified a unique subset of immune cells that actively maintain a healthy, age-appropriate immune system, offering new ways to track and support healthy aging. Now here's our final headline.
A study by the University of Bergen in Norway suggests that women who regularly clean face a long-term health risk, as exposure to cleaning chemicals can significantly reduce lung function, an effect comparable to smoking a pack of cigarettes daily for 10 to 20 years.
집에서 주기적으로 청소하는 여성들의 경우 청소 화학 물질에 꾸준히 노출됨에 따라 10에서 20년간 하루 한 갑씩 담배를 피우는 것 피우는 것과 비슷한 수준으로 폐 기능이 저하되는 등 장기적인 건강 위험에 직면할 수 있다는 연구 결과가 노르웨이 베르겐 대학교에서 나왔습니다. 이 영어 문장 구조를 봤을 때 clean하고 face가 붙어서 clean face, 깨끗한 얼굴 이렇게 생각할 수 있지만 그게 아니라 clean까지가 주절이고요.
네.
face가 동사예요. 이렇게 이해하시면 돼요. clean은 청소하다라는 뜻으로 여기서 쓴 거죠.
Yes. So here, when we just use to clean, it's always going to be to do the cleaning. So it means washing the floor or the walls or cleaning the toilet, whatever it may be.
Okay.
And yes, it's the long-term study. It took over 20 years. And it does show that women who clean had this lung function dropping faster than those who did not.
Yeah, because of the chemicals in
Exactly.
the products.
Yeah, and it is as bad for you, it seems, as smoking. And, well, the issue is, of course, with cleaning, you're using all these very strong chemicals. If you're working professionally, for example, if you're a professional cleaner, then every day you're exposed to very strong-smelling detergents and other materials being used for cleaning, and they can irritate the lungs.
I guess you should wear a mask then. That would help.
Yes, there may be other protective factors. What's interesting, though, is that there was not the same effect in men. It was only for women.
Interesting.
So I think more needs to be done to study what is going on here. But it is a warning to those working in the cleaning industry to take a few more precautions maybe to protect your own lungs.
그래요. 우리 이제 반짝반짝 빛나고 뽀득뽀득게 되기 위해서 여러 가지 화학 제품들을 써서 청소를 하잖아요. 근데 거기에 꾸준히 노출이 되면은 그게 몸에 상당히 안 좋을 수도 있다는 내용입니다. 자, 노출이 되다. Be exposed to something.
Yes, if you're exposed to something, you come into contact with it. Usually negative, though it can be positive.
Yeah.
If we talk about English, being exposed to English at a young age can help you start to learn it.
Yes.
But normally we talk about being exposed to a dangerous toxin or chemical or something that's not good for us.
그래요. 자, 무엇에 노출되는 것을 to be exposed to something이라고 하는데요. 이 명사 형태, 무엇에의 노출, 요거는 exposure to something. Now, what's comparable to something?
Well, it means that we can compare it to that thing. We can compare A to B. It means they are similar or they share similar factors.
So being exposed to all these chemicals is comparable to smoking a pack of cigarettes every day for a decade or 2 decades.
Yeah, meaning it's similar to. It's not the same, but we can compare the two things.
네, 무엇에 맞먹는, 무엇과 비교할 만한 이런 뜻입니다. 다시 읽어볼게요. A study by the University of Bergen in Norway suggests that women who regularly clean face a long-term health risk as exposure to cleaning chemicals can significantly reduce lung function, an effect comparable to smoking a pack of cigarettes daily for 10 to 20 years. All right, well, those were our headlines this morning.
A recent study by researchers at the Autonomous University of Barcelona finds that Korea has the longest average commuting time among 43 countries surveyed at 1 hour and 48 minutes.
바르셀로나 자치대학교 연구진이 전 세계 43개국을 대상으로 통근 시간을 조사한 결과 한국이 가장 긴 1시간 48분을 기록해 1위를 차지한 것으로 나타났습니다.
Yep.
Okay. How
It's
long
quite
did
long.
how long did it take you to come to work this morning, Karen?
Oh, it took about 35 minutes, 40
Okay,
minutes.
That's not bad.
Yeah,
but on
it's
your
not
way back,
bad.
I know it takes a lot longer,
Oh,
right?
yeah. On the way back, it takes a little over an hour. Yeah, because there's a lot of traffic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think most people who live in Seoul or around Seoul will be used to at least an hour one way, maybe two hours both ways. And so it's no surprise in that sense. But the fact that we topped this list
Yes.
is kind of sad.
It's very sad.
Yeah.
And what was actually very surprising to me was that we topped it by 40 minutes. It was 40 minutes longer than the global average.
와, 전
Yeah.
세계 평균보다 우리나라의 통근 시간 평균이 40분이나 더 길다고요?
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
So this was according to the environmental research letters, and this was, as we mentioned, it was a study conducted by a university in Barcelona, and there was a separate study from the Gangbuk Samsung Hospital, and it found that workers with one-way commutes over 60 minutes face significantly higher risks of loneliness.
Yeah.
And they said that it was 49% higher within families and 36% higher socially compared with those commuting 30 minutes or less. So it affects, it's not just where you're tired and it affects your, your health, but also with your loneliness and your mental health as well. And they said that the effect was most pronounced among drivers, while public transit users, walkers, and cyclists showed no significant increase.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I think that also makes sense because when you're driving, it
You're
makes
alone.
you tired.
Yeah.
It makes you tired, it makes you stressed, and you're alone, as you mentioned. So researchers warn that Korea's long commute culture may accelerate social isolation, and they're urging policymakers to pursue mental health-centered solutions.
와, 대중교통을 이용하는 사람들보다 운전을 해서 출퇴근을 하는 사람들의 경우 편도 60분 이상을 운전을 하게 되면은 우울증이라든지 외로움, 여러 가지 정신적인 어려움을 겪을 가능성이 높아진다. 이런 연구 결과도 따로 있었다고 합니다.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
This is interesting, though, because
yeah.
I kind of like spending time alone in the car driving by
Yeah,
myself
yeah.
because it's my time. It's my
Exactly.
alone time.
Yeah, yeah.
But I guess it does kind of make sense, for people to feel a little lonely.
Yeah, and this is just the average, so we will have people on either side of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at the expression commuting time.
Yes. So commuting time, you're commuting. So this is talking about the travel time or when you're traveling this distance between your home and your place of work. And you're referring to that when you're doing it on a regular basis. So it's not when you're doing it just once a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
commuting이 바로 통근이 되겠고요. 출퇴근하는 거요. 그 시간을 말합니다. What about a survey?
A survey. So
Or to survey.
Yeah. So when you are investigating the options or experience of a group of people by asking them questions.
그래요. 설문조사라는 명사가 될 수도 있고 여기서처럼 조사하다라는 동사가 될 수도 있겠죠. To survey. 자, 다시 읽어보겠습니다. A recent study by researchers at the Autonomous University of Barcelona finds that Korea has the longest average commuting time among 43 countries surveyed at 1 hour and 48 minutes. Let's move on to the second headline.
A 1971 dot painting by Korean abstract master Kim Hwan-gi has sold for $8.4 million or more than 12 billion won at an auction held in New York, achieving the second highest auction price ever for a Korean artwork.
한국 추상미술의 대가 김환기의 1971년 전면 점화 한 점이 미국 뉴욕에서 열린 경매에서 840만 달러, 우리 돈으로 약 120억 원이 넘는 금액에 낙찰돼 한국 미술품으로는 역대 두 번째로 높은 경매가를 기록했습니다. So this painting, can you call it a painting?
Yeah.
It consists of millions of tiny dots, right? And it's
yeah.
a huge picture. But tell us more.
Yeah, that's what he's known for, Kim Han-gi. So it's the title of this painting is 19671, and the 6 is in Roman numerals, and it's number 206, and it measures 254 by 203 centimeters, and it was sold during Christie's 20th Century Evening Sale, and with the auction fee included, it exceeds $10.29 million. And Christie's, they called this piece the zenith of Korean modern abstraction. And it was created during Kim's New York period when his search for nature's essence reached its most refined form. Kim, so we mentioned that this is the second highest auction price ever for a Korean artwork, but he also holds the current auction record for the most expensive Korean artwork, the number one.
Both?
Yes.
of these records.
Yeah. So because his 1971 blue dot painting called Universe 05 471 number 200, that was sold for 11.3 million at Christie's Hong Kong back in 2019. So his works are the most expensive Korean artworks that are sold that have been auctioned.
Very interesting. 자, 그러니까 이제 가장 높은 가격에 낙찰된 작품도 김한기 작가의 작품이고 이 작품이 이제 두 번째로 가장 높은 금액으로 경매에 팔렸습니다.
Yeah, and they're from the same period.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier Christie's described this artwork as the zenith of Korean modern abstraction.
Yeah.
And the dictionary definition of zenith is the time at which something is most powerful or successful.
Yeah.
Or it can be a point in the sky directly above the observer. So I guess it just means it's like very high.
Yeah, it's the top. It's like the epitome.
어떤 것의 절정,
Yeah.
그걸 zenith라고 표현하는데 크리스티스 옥션 하우스에서 이 작품을 보고 한국 현대 추상 미술의 어떤 정점을 찍는 그런 작품이다. 이렇게 묘사를 했군요. Interesting. Okay, so what's abstract or abstraction when it comes to art? What are we talking about?
Yeah, so abstract art, it's a style of art that does not attempt to represent a realistic or accurate depiction of visual reality. So that's why when you look at abstract art, sometimes you just kind of wonder, what is it trying to say?
Yeah, exactly. 추상 미술을 이제 abstract art라고 하고요. 이 추상화의 대가를 abstract master라고 말할 수 있는 거겠죠.
Yeah.
And to achieve something?
To achieve something. So that means to successfully bring about or reach a desired objective, level, or result by effort, skill, or courage. So a similar word you can use instead would be accomplish.
그래요. To achieve는 뭔가 달성하다. 자, 그럼 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. A 1971 dot painting by Korean abstract master Kim Han-gi has sold for $8.4 million, or more than 12 billion won, at an auction held in New York, achieving the second highest auction price ever for a Korean artwork.
The European Commission has unveiled a high-speed rail plan aimed at significantly slashing travel times between major cities, with the first lines expected to open by 2030 and additional routes by 2040.
유럽연합 집행위원회가 고속열차로 유럽 주요 도시를 연결해 이동 시간을 획기적으로 단축하겠다는 계획을 발표했습니다. 이에 따르면 1차 노선은 2030년까지, 추가 노선은 2040년까지 개통될 예정입니다. It's already kind of convenient to travel around Europe because they're within this one, branch group, you can just travel freely without a visa to any of the EU countries.
Right.
You can have lunch in Paris and then dinner in Berlin. And it's
totally
it's fine.
possible.
It's fine. It's possible, but this is going to get even more convenient and faster with this train, right?
I feel like when you're in Europe, train travel is probably more convenient because when you're air traveling, you have to get to the airport and then you have to check in your luggage. And with trains, you just hop in and hop out.
Exactly.
So it cuts down a lot of the travel time. So I think that's what they're getting at. And also, I think with trains, what they were saying about airplanes, or they're trying to build these high-speed rails, is it's because of pollution.
Oh,
because airplanes, it's a lot. It causes a lot more pollution. So that's why they're working on these high-speed rail trains.
Yeah.
So what they're saying is that these first new routes are expected by 2030, and they're going to add more by 2040. And they're saying that it's aiming to cut long travel times and making railroads a stronger alternative to flights. So for example, the Berlin-Copenhagen route would drop from 7 to 4 hours.
Wow.
So it cuts down the travel time by a lot. And they're saying that later phases, they're going to make routes go from Lisbon to Paris in just about 9 hours. So it's going to really drastically cut down the travel time. And the European Commission is also planning to improve affordability as well through greater operator competition and seamless cross-border ticketing by the year 2026. So the project requires an estimated 550 billion euros and includes expanded train production capacity to reduce years-long wait times for new trains.
네, 그래요. 그래서 유럽 내에 지금 현재도 기차로 이동을 할 수 있지만 훨씬 그 시간을 단축하겠다라는 계획입니다. I think it's also very romantic, isn't it? Sort of to travel by train.
I like traveling by train.
Yeah,
because you can see everything that's outside, and it's as I mentioned, it's more convenient.
그래요. 리스본 스페인에서 아까 어디라고 했죠? 파리스까지? 파리까지가 지금 현재 9시간 걸린다고요? 아니면 9시간 걸릴 거라고?
Cut it down to 9 hours.
아, 그렇구나. 네. 뭐 어쨌든 네, 하루 안에 왔다 갔다 맘만 먹으면 할 수 있겠네요.
Yeah.
자, 표현 좀 보겠습니다. Aimed at something.
Aimed at something. So you use this expression when you want to say that you have a specific purpose, target, or goal. So it can be used to describe an action or object directed at a physical target or a specific goal or outcome or a particular audience or group of people.
그래요. Aimed at something은 무엇을 목표로 한다라는 뜻이 되겠죠. What about to slash travel times?
Slashing. So slashing means to reduce. It could be, for example, a price or quantity, or here it's time.
Yeah.
So when you are cutting something greatly, you can use this expression.
Slashing actually literally means to cut, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So to cut travel time. 이동 시간을 대폭 줄이다라는 뜻이에요. slash가 cut랑 같은 뜻이거든요. 근데 이제 좀 어떤 느낌이냐면은 커트 하면은 뭐 가위를 쓸 수도 있고 뭐 이런 느낌이 자르다라면은 slash는 정말 한 번에 뭔가
50%.
이 느낌이 있어요.
Yeah,
똑같이
yeah.
이렇게 커트긴 커트인데 확 자르는 이 느낌이 있어요.
Yeah. Very bold, like bold cuts.
그렇게 들리지 않나요? 단어 자체가
Yeah.
cut 그리고 slash
Yeah.
이거는 뭔가
And also, you might have heard this when we talk about like slasher movies.
Oh, what's
this
that?
is when you like those movies when you see a lot of blood and gore.
okay.
The
그거
horror
slasher
movies,
movies잖아요.
It's a specific genre when you see a lot of blood.
알겠습니다. 자, 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. The European Commission has unveiled a high-speed rail plan aimed at significantly slashing travel times between major cities, with the first lines expected to open by 2030 and additional routes by 2040. Let's move on to the next headline.
The Louvre Museum in Paris has announced the closure of a 9-room gallery displaying Greek ceramics due to structural weaknesses, adding to the unwelcome attention the museum has faced following a high-profile heist last month.
프랑스 파리의 루브르 박물관이 건물 안전 문제로 인해 그리스 도자기 전시 공간으로 사용 중인 캄파나 갤러리의 9개 전시실을 폐쇄한다고 밝혔습니다. 이는 지난달 발생한 유명한 도난 사건 이후 루브르 박물관에 닥친 또 한 번의 악재인 셈입니다.
The museum is going through a lot.
Yeah.
Because I heard recently that some social media like challenge happened, and these two people, they snuck in a painting, and they put it basically next to like almost near the Mona Lisa, and no one knew.
Oh my goodness.
And they posted this on their social media, and so that was another thing. So security is still not tight yet.
That's more than a loophole.
Yeah.
It's like non-existent in some areas. What's going on?
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
so the Louvre Museum is in the headlines almost every day these days. But as we mentioned, so they're closing down the Campania Gallery. So this consists of 9 rooms, and it hosts the Greek ceramics. So they're going to shut it down as engineers are investigating these beams that support the floors. As we mentioned, there's been a lot of criticism over the museum's lax security and basic upkeep. I remember when I went back in 2015 or so, it was raining and the rain was leaking.
Oh no, really?
So I guess they really maybe they just need to close down the museum for a little bit and just kind of fix everything and fix the security system and try to fix everything up. So this is just 3 weeks after this big jewel theft. A report was released in which the Court of Auditors detailed that the years 2018 through 24, the museum spent over 100 million euros on buying new artworks and 63.5 million euros on exhibition spaces. But at the same time, it only spent 26.7 million euros on maintenance works. So they're spending more on buying new stuff, but not as much on maintenance. And since the jewel theft security measures have been tightened around France's cultural institutions, but I do think that they need to pay more attention on these security measures. And the Louvre, they even transferred some of its most precious jewels to the Bank of France. So that's good news.
그래요. 그러니까 지금 루브르 박물관이 지난달에 있었던 그 도난 사건에 이어서 지금 여러 가지로 우려가 되는 상황들이 있다 보니까 지금 얘기한 이 그리스 물건들이 전시된 전시실 9개를 폐쇄하고 they're going to inspect or investigate some beams라고 했어요. 기둥 몇 개를 좀 면밀히 살펴보겠다. 그래서 뭐 보수공사가 들어갈 수도 있겠고요.
It sounds dangerous. Yeah.
네, 그래요. So this latest development is adding to more concerns about safety. So let's look at adding to.
Yeah, so that means on top of. So to be joined to something so as to increase its size, number, or amount.
Adding to something은 무언가에 더해서라는 뜻인데요. 이제 안 좋은 상황을 얘기하면서 더 더한다고 하면은 악화시킨다라는 의미가 되겠고 좋은 얘기를 하면서 adding to 하면은 더 좋아진다는 의미겠죠?
Yep.
What about high profile heist?
A heist is a robbery.
Yep.
And if something is high profile, that means that it's attracting a lot of attention or publicity.
heist 스펠링 어떻게 되나요?
It's Heist. Heist.
네, high profile이라는 것은 굉장히 잘 알려졌다라는 뜻이고요. 사람한테 쓸 수도 있어요. high profile person. 그다음에 heist가 바로 강도 사건이 되겠습니다. 다시 읽어볼게요. The Louvre Museum in Paris has announced the closure of a 9-room gallery displaying Greek ceramics due to structural weaknesses, adding to the unwelcome attention the museum has faced following a high-profile heist last month. Now let's move on to the final headline.
An 80-year-old American woman has made history as the oldest person to complete the Ironman triathlon, known as one of the toughest endurance races in the world, finishing in 16 hours, 45 minutes, and 26 seconds.
80세의 한 미국 여성이 세계적으로도 극한의 지구력 경기로 유명한 철인 3종 경기를 16시간 45분 26초 만에 완주하면서 기네스 역대 최고령 철인 3종 경기 완주 기록을 경신했습니다. 80. Wow, tell us about this lady.
She's 80 years and 69 days old.
Okay.
Yes. So her name is Natalie Grabo, and she has become the oldest woman to finish the Ironman 140.6 World Championship. She completed the Kona race in 16 hours and 45 minutes. So she's a latecomer in competitive sports. She didn't learn to swim until the age of 59.
What?
But yeah. But has since completed dozens of triathlons, including 16 full Ironman races. So her success at Ironman Maryland in 2024 and an encouragement from her coach, friends, and daughter gave her the confidence to take on this race again. So she battled heat, humidity, and wind, and she paced herself carefully and drew on experience from 10 previous appearances to reach the finish finish line, and that's how she became the oldest woman to complete this race. And Ironman officials have praised her achievement as proof that determination and passion have no age limit.
Wow, this is incredible. Now, if she's 80 years old, I guess she grew up in the 1940s and 50s.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And obviously during that time, girls wouldn't have been able to learn too many sports, I would imagine. It's straight after the war, really.
Yeah.
So, like you said, she's a late bloomer.
She's a
many
latecomer, late bloomer.
Latecomer.
Yeah.
수영을 59세 때 처음 배웠대요.
Yes.
와, 그리고 이제 대학 졸업 후부터 여러 가지 스포츠를 이제 즐기고 배우고 하면서 스키, 테니스, 그 다음에 또 30대가 돼서야 달리기 이런 것들을 시작했다고 하는데, 와, 이게 늦게 시작한 것도 시작한 거지만 사실 지금 이제 80세면은 체력이 좀 예전 같지 않을 수 있는데.
Yeah.
어떻게 이걸 와 정말 대단하네요. 말이 좀 안 나올 정도로.
Wow. I don't think I could do this now.
Most people can't. Exactly.
Much less 80.
Exactly. Let's have a look at the word triathlon.
Triathlon. So triathlon is an athletic contest. It consists of 3 different events. That's why it's tri. Like tricycle means it's 3. So it typically includes swimming, cycling, and long distance running.
Yeah. Swimming, cycling, long distance running, 수영, 자전거라고 말하면 좀 이상하지만 사이클링.
Yep.
네, 그다음에는 이제 장거리 달리기까지 합쳐서 철인 3종 경기인데요. 3개라는 뜻의 접두어 try가 붙었습니다. Tricycle 그러면은 바퀴가 3개 달린 자전거가 되겠죠. Triangle 그러면 삼각형이죠. What about endurance?
So endurance usually means like you can do something for a really long time, but it can also relate to a race or other sporting event that takes place over a long distance or otherwise demands great physical stamina.
지구력이라는 뜻이에요. And obviously for the triathlon, if you're doing this for 16 hours, you need endurance.
Yes.
지구력이 참 대단하네요. 자, 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. An 80-year-old American woman has made history as the oldest person to complete the Ironman triathlon, known as one of the toughest endurance races in the world, finishing in 16 hours, 45 minutes, and 26 seconds. Well, that's it for the headlines this morning.
The central bank has called for measures to maintain the cash circulation system as an increasing number of buses, retailers, and local government-affiliated institutions have recently begun limiting cash payments.
한국은행은 국내 버스, 매장, 지자체 시설 등에서 현금을 받지 않는 곳이 늘어나면서 현금 이용 기반이 약화하고 있다며 화폐 유통 시스템 유지를 위한 적극적인 대응이 필요하다고 강조했습니다. Do you use cash much?
Not much.
Do you carry around a lot of cash?
I do.
Oh, you do, just in case.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely just in case. And also, I shouldn't say I don't at all, because I do spend it, like every now and then, I'll find myself in a parking lot,
Yeah.
and the attendant will say, we don't accept cards. So,
Really?
like, there have been moments like that. And then also, like, last night, I was actually just playing ice hockey. I play with a group of players, and we have the choice of paying by bank transfer or paying by cash. And I usually tend to pay by cash there for
Okay.
some reason. I don't know why, come to think of it. But
Wow.
so I still carry around a little bit of cash like that. And every now and then, I've got to buy a lottery ticket. and
you have to pay by cash.
for lottery tickets. So
That is
there you go.
true. However, generally speaking, there's less usage for cash these days.
Certainly. Absolutely.
So tell us more.
Yeah, and a meeting was basically held, and among those who attended the meeting was the Bank of Korea and other relevant organizations, and they discussed that the demographic seems to be shifting these days, right? We talk about millennial groups and just groups, as well as the digital transformation. It's kind of reshaping the cash use ecosystem, and I think certainly if you compare Korea with other countries, I think this is certainly happening in Korea much more aggressively or quicker.
Yeah.
So they're kind of concerned that bank branches and ATMs, certainly in the non-capital region especially, could see a lot of those disappearing, which could be even more inconvenienced.
그래요. ATM기는 우리도 외래어로 쓰니까 잘 아실 거예요. 현금 인출기라는 뜻이죠. 그래서 수도권이 아닌 지역에서는 이런 현금 인출기라든지 아니면 은행 지점 자체가 예전만큼 많지가 않아서 현금을 찾는 것도 좀 쉽지가 않고요. 뭐 그것은 어떻게 보면은 현금을 많이 쓰지 않아서 그렇게 줄어든 것도 있지만 또 거꾸로 이렇게 줄어들어서 더 현금을 덜 쓰게 되는 또 이렇게 서로 영향을 주는 그런 현상들일 수도 있습니다. So actually, the higher uppers are saying we should try and get people to use more cash.
Yeah, and I think sometimes it's convenient to not have to carry it around, but then every now and then, if it becomes obsolete, like gone forever completely, then what tends to happen is when you do need it in those rare moments, then it does become even more inconvenient. So
Yeah.
I think that's what they're talking about in the situation.
그래요. 그래서 한은에서는 앞으로 계속해서 전국적인 어떤 네트워크를 구축해서 현금이 잘 유통이 될 수 있도록 하겠다라는 얘기를 했습니다. 이렇게 유통되다. 제가 지금 손으로 동그라미를 그리고 있는데요. 영어로는 circulation, circle이랑 비슷하네요, 단어가?
Yeah, of course, circle the base word in there. So something that's going around, meaning something like money, it's being passed on from one person to another and to another, but it goes sort of in a circle. It goes full circle where it can kind of see how it could end up back where it started because it's being used in every different situation to have it go around. So money's not the only thing that circulates. I mean, you could have water, as an example, it circulates through evaporation to make clouds and then it rains back down. So there's like a circulation of water in, the system. But then, you talk about the circle of life. There's a lot of things that work in circular systems and, cash is certainly one of them.
그래요. 이제 지금 얘기하고 있는 돈의 유통 이런 거는 circulation이라고 표현을 합니다. Now, what about to be affiliated with something?
If you're affiliated with something, then you are connected to something. It's you have a relationship with someone, perhaps, or you're benefiting and helping someone as well. It's usually like a give and take situation where both parties are benefiting from something.
그래요. To be affiliated with something은 무엇과 연계돼 있다라는 뜻이 되겠습니다. 그래서 소속된 사람일 수도 있고요. 아니면은 제휴라는 의미가 있을 수도 있죠. 사람이 꼭 아니더라도 무언가가 다른 무엇과 연계되어 있다. It's affiliated with something 이렇게 표현을 할 수 있습니다.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of companies are affiliated with bigger companies. So they're kind of working together or helping each other. So they have, a strong relationship.
Exactly. And of course, the BOK is Korea's central bank. In the US, the Federal Reserve is America's central bank. In Canada,
I have no idea.
We'll have
maybe
to check that one.
Canadian Mint, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
Bank of Canada, I guess?
Probably. Most countries have Bank of something, but it's just America. It's not Bank of America. There is a bank called Bank of America, but that's not their central bank.
Yeah.
It's just a bank. And then their central bank is called the Federal Reserve, which we call 연방준비위원회 or just 연준 in short. 우리도 이제 한국은행, 한은 하듯이 이렇게 하잖아요. 이런 이제 중앙은행들은 비즈니스 뉴스, 이코노미 뉴스에서 많이 언급이 되는데 이게 중앙은행이라는 걸 얘기하지 않고 뉴스가 이렇게 진행이 될 때도 있고 아니면 굉장히 친절하게 이 나라의 중앙은행인 뭐뭐뭐 이렇게 얘기할 때도 있죠. Alright, 자 그러면 한번 다시 읽어보겠습니다. The central bank has called for measures to maintain the cash circulation system as an increasing number of buses, retailers, and local government-affiliated institutions have recently begun limiting cash payments. Let's move on to the second headline.
The European Commission is considering proposing a levy next year on highly processed foods with high fat, sugar, and salt content in order to provide incentives for healthier eating, according to the German press agency.
유럽연합 집행위원회가 소비자들의 건강한 식습관을 유도하기 위해 내년부터 지방, 당분, 염분 함량이 높은 고가공식품에 세금을 매기는 방안을 추진한다고 독일 언론사가 보도했습니다. So it's going to be more expensive to buy food that's not good for you. Hopefully that will dissuade you to buy those unhealthy foods.
Yeah, it's not expected to be a big tax. They're calling it a EU-wide micro tax.
Okay.
So it's probably going to be a very small amount. But I guess the hope is that something will be just a little bit more expensive than the healthier option.
Yeah.
So maybe that will kind of push you towards eating healthier, ideally. And they're also hoping that that will help incentivize or kind of push manufacturers to also make their foods more healthy as well,
Exactly.
which I think should be the end game,
Yeah.
right? I mean, if all manufacturers are only providing good, healthy foods, then I think it's good to limit the options of people because
Sure.
sometimes people just don't always make the best decisions.
그렇죠. 최종적으로는 이제 생산하는 과정에서도 보다 더 건강하게 음식을 만들고 그다음에 이런 뭐 여러 가지 가공 음식들 그 염분 함량, 뭐 당분 함량, 지방 함량 이런 것들을 지금보다 좀 더 낮출 수 있도록 하는 그런 이제 세금을 매기는 방식인 것 같아요. 최종 목적은 그렇겠죠. 근데 아마 당장은 소비자들이 이제 딱 봤을 때 조금 더 비싸졌다 하는 그런 식품들이 있을 겁니다. 왜냐면은 뭐 바로바로 음식의 그 함량이 줄어들지는 않을 테니까 좀 비싸지기만 하겠죠. 자, 그래서 건강한 거를 택해라. 이게 이제 목적인 겁니다. Alright, let's have a look at proposing a levy.
First off, a levy is like a tax,
Yeah.
essentially. So it's an amount that you're going to pay extra on something. And this is proposing a levy. So this hasn't happened yet. It's not going to happen for sure. It's an idea. Somebody has said, hey, let's do this. Let's add a tax to, highly produced foods. So because of that, it's proposing a levy. Someone has made a proposal that here's a good idea.
Yeah, exactly. L-E-V-Y, levy는 명사로는 부과금, 동사 to levy 그럼 부과하다라는 뜻이 있어서요. 여기서 명사인데 propose a levy. 그래서 EU의 그 집행위원회가요. 이런 세금 매기는 방안을 제안한 겁니다. 이렇게 하자라고 한 거죠.
And it's similar to like proposing to get married, right? Like
Yeah.
if you do a proposal, then in the same idea, it's like, hey, let's live together and be family for the rest of our lives. Like this is my idea. What do you think of my proposal?
Exactly.
So.
네, 여러분 결혼하기 전에 하는 그 프로포즈 있잖아요. 그게 사실은 제안하는 거예요. 우리 같이 결혼할까?라는 일생일대의 제안이겠죠. 그럴 때는. 그래서 명사 형태로는 proposal, 동사일 때는 to propose to someone 이렇게 얘기를 하는 건데 다 같은 동사입니다. To propose. What about an incentive?
An incentive is something that you do or offer in order to make something more attractive. So you're giving a benefit of some sort or something positive to make people want to do something that you want them to do.
incentive라는 거는요, 어떻게 보면은 좋은 동기가 될 수도 있는 것이죠. 그러니까 이렇게 몸에 좋지 않은 것들에 세금을 더 부과하게 되면은 조금 더 비싸지잖아요. 그러니까 결국은 소비자로 하여금 덜 비싼 건강한 것을 먹게끔 유도하는 그런 아이디어인 거죠. So an incentive, 우리가 인센티브, 어떤 이제 보너스,
That's right.
인센티브라고 이제 외래어로 쓰기도 하는데 보너스 같은 개념으로 쓰기도 하잖아요. 근데 인센티브 자체는 그러니까 굉장히 좋은 우리가 하고 싶게끔 무언가 하고 싶게끔 하는 것이에요. incentive라는 이 단어 자체는. So yeah, it makes you want to maybe work harder.
Yeah,
if you get an
absolutely.
incentive at work.
It's something positive.
Yeah.
We often talk about the carrot and the stick. So the carrot meaning back in the old days, if you wanted a horse to move, you put a carrot in front of it.
That's an incentive.
Yeah, that's an incentive,
Yes.
right? The carrot is the incentive to make the horse move, whereas the stick, it's kind of more of a punishment, right?
Yeah.
It's a negative way to do it. So think of the carrot as being an incentive that's positive, whereas the stick is negative, so it's not really an incentive.
그럴 때는 상 같은 느낌이네요. 우리
Yeah.
당근과 채찍이라고 하잖아요. 근데 이 당근이 바로 그 인센티브 역할을 하는 거예요. 거기서 끝나는 게 아니라 당근을 받으니까 더 열심히 달리고 싶어 하겠죠, 말이. 그런 것처럼 이해하시면 되겠습니다.
당근이지. It's a carrot.
언제적 표현을. 자, 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. The European Commission is considering proposing a levy next year on highly proposed foods with high fat, sugar, and salt content in order to provide incentives for healthier eating, according to the German press agency.
Rising electricity demand from data centers is raising the risk of blackouts across a wide swath of the U.S. during extreme conditions this winter, according to the regulatory body overseeing grid stability, with power consumption up by 20 gigawatts from last winter.
미국의 전력망 규제기관인 북미전력신뢰도공사는 올겨울 데이터 센터의 전력 수요 급증으로 인해 전력 소비가 지난해보다 20기가와트 증가할 것이라는 전망과 함께 이로 인해 미국 전역에서 혹한시 정전이 발생할 위험이 커지고 있다는 경고를 내놨습니다. Oh no, tell us more.
Yeah, well, we mentioned that it's up by 20 gigawatts from last winter. So to give you an idea, I mean, like how big is a gigawatt? This is 20 gigawatts, but 1 gigawatt is basically the typical size of a nuclear power reactor. So imagine that, the U.S. is using 20 nuclear reactor worths of energy more than they did last year. And they're saying that wintertime in particular is an issue because solar power generation in the winter is less because you have less daylight time in the northern hemisphere during winter. So you get less help from solar. And then even gas supplies, if it gets really cold, then the pipes can freeze up. So it can be an issue when it comes to gas in that sense as well. So these are the challenges that they're facing this year.
Yeah, well, they're saying that there could be a lot of 정전 사태 or blackouts across a wide swath of the US.
A swath meaning a large area, but usually you think of it as like a large strip. And I think of it like if I'm watching a baseball game or even soccer as well, you'll notice like the fields, you can almost see the way that they cut it in strips because the field has been cut with like, you can see the lines of how they cut the grass. And that'd be like, I think of that as like a large swath, like a large area that's like a big long strip.
그래요. 아주 넓은 구간이나 길 이런 것들을 swath라고 하는데요. SWATH. 그러니까 미국의 많은 지역에서 이렇게 정전 사태가 일어날 수 있습니다. Probably not in the south, but maybe in some of the northern states.
Yes.
Loads of areas could be affected. And we're talking about grid stability.
The grid is, in this case, we're talking about a power grid, meaning the area that is supplied energy from a power source. Typically, when we think of a grid, you think of like vertical and horizontal lines that creates like all these squares together. But which I guess sort of was the way that the power was distributed back in the day when houses were made in like a grid system, when roads were grids back then. But when we're talking about grid stability, so once again, the grid here meaning a power grid or the energy being supplied. And stability is something that is just kind of consistent without too much change in one direction or the other. So to have stability means that it's kind of like safe because you're having the same amount of something without too much deviation.
Exactly. Stability라는 거는 안정성이죠. 안정적으로 뭔가가 간다. stable하게. 흔들리지 않고. 이게 이제 stability라면은 무엇에 대한 안정성이냐? 바로 electrical grid. 근데 그냥 grid라고 해도 다 이해를 해요. 전력망 얘기를 하는 겁니다. 이 grid라는 것 자체는 가로 세로 줄들이 다 이렇게 엮여가지고 있는 그런 망, 그런 걸 다 grid라고 하기는 하는데 여기서는 사실 이제 전력이 공급이 되는 모습이 마치 여기저기 얽히고 설키는 것처럼 보여서 그냥 electrical grid라고 부르는 것 같아요. Is it electrical or electric? Electric grid? I don't know. We just say grid though, right?
Yeah. Electricity grid,
Yeah,
electrical grid. Yeah,
It's implied.
Yeah.
And we know, we understand.
It all works.
Yeah. And so if sometimes we hear of people in the US who are off the grid.
Yes.
And that means they don't rely on electricity. They maybe ride horses.
Or well, they don't need electricity from the government.
Oh, okay.
So if you're off the grid,
then-
because sometimes you can have your own solar panels.
Got it. I see,
So
I see.
I don't need somebody else to provide me utilities essentially. So
okay.
I'm living on my own means. I
Right.
don't need somebody else to help me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like someone who's off the grid doesn't have a phone.
Yes,
Maybe, right?
It could be as well.
Yeah, they prefer snail mail. 그래서 이제 off the grid 한 사람에 대해서 가끔 들을 때가 있어요. 이제 일부 이제 미국의 뭐 작은 마을이나 이런 데 보면은 정부에서 제공하는 그런 전기, 전력 이런 것도 다 거부하고 그다음에 그냥 어떻게 보면 자기들끼리 자급자족하면서 전화기도 없고요. 인터넷도 없고 그러면서 이제 사는 거죠.
It could be that they're also unreachable. So
그럴 수
yeah,
있어요.
if they're off the grid, then you can't contact them, you can't find them, you don't know where they are.
네네.
Yeah.
근데 지금 선생님 얘기를 듣고 보니까 그래도 전기가 필요할 때는 이제 알아서 태양전지 같은 것들을 쓰고 이런 거는 뭐 이제 자체적으로 할 수 있으니까 그런 거는 활용을 하기는 하겠네요. 자, grid입니다. 다시 한번 제가 읽어볼게요. Rising electricity demand from data centers is raising the risk of blackouts across a wide swath of the US during extreme conditions this winter, according to the regulatory body overseeing grid stability, with power consumption up by 20 gigawatts from last winter. Let's move on to the next headline.
A painting by Gustav Klimt, titled Portrait of Elizabeth Lederer, has sold for a record-breaking $236.4 million, making it the most expensive work of modern art ever sold at auction.
오스트리아 화가 구스타프 클림트의 그림 엘리자베스 레더러의 초상이 경매에서 2억 3,640만 달러, 우리 돈으로 약 3,460억 원 네, 금액에 팔리면서 현대 미술품 중 최고 낙찰가 기록을 세웠습니다. Wow.
I mean, that's the kind of, like, how many apartments could you buy with that?
I mean, I can't fathom what this kind of money even feels like.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's like about 200-300 apartments. So, like, you could have an apartment 단지, right, for the price of that one painting.
Yeah, I don't know, like 3천억 원? A lot of neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Right.
So the portrait of Elizabeth Lederer, it was painted between 1914 and 1916. So this goes back over 100 years. And it breaks, it's a new record, and it breaks the previous record by a lot because the previous record was only 108 million. So it's more than twice as much as the previous record of Lady with a Fan, which was sold in 2023.
Exactly. 우리나라에서는 구스타프 클림트의 The Kiss라는 그림이 또 굉장히 유명하죠. Do you know this one? The
no.
yellow painting with the woman and I guess and man because they're kissing. They say if you're single and you hang this picture up on your wall at home, then you'll find your mate or something. I don't know. It will bring you good luck or something. I don't know.
Oh,
That's what they
that.
say.
Okay,
Yeah.
Our writer.
Yeah.
Paul
Very
just,
famous.
It just posted it
very
so I can
famous
see
picture.
it. And
this
yeah,
one is very popular.
I
But
have seen that.
the one we're talking about today is a different painting. It's, as you said, a painting of Elizabeth Lederer. Now, You did say earlier on that this is the most expensive modern art ever sold.
Yeah.
However, it's not the most expensive painting ever sold.
Yeah, the most expensive one ever is Salvator Mundi by Leonardo da Vinci, which was sold in 2017 for $450.3 million. So basically double that as well. So a lot of money once again, almost
그래요.
$500 million.
네, 현대 미술품 중에서는 지금 얘기하고 있는 클림트의 엘리자베스 레더라 초상이 가장 높은 금액에 팔리긴 했는데 역대 가장 높은 금액에 팔린 미술품은 다빈치의 살바토 문디예요. 네, 이거는 지금 얘기한 엘리자베스 레더라 초상 가격의 거의 2배 정도나 되는 어마어마한 금액에 팔렸습니다.
Crazy amount of money.
Indeed. Let's have a look at work of modern art.
Yeah, work of modern art. So when we call art, we'll often call it like a work of art, meaning that it's something that's been created. Somebody had to work to make it, and it's not just natural. And modern art, meaning that it's something more recent. Now, this is more than 100 years old, but it's still considered modern art, as I mentioned. Whereas the Da Vinci piece, that
predates that, I guess.
much earlier than that. So that's why it's not considered modern art.
그래요. Modern art 그러면 현대 미술이 되겠습니다. 그리고 보통 영어에서는 a work of modern art, a work of art 이런 문장 구조를 많이 써요. 그리고 이게 또 this is a work of art 언제 또 많이 쓸 수 있냐면 우리말로 하자면은 와 이거 예술이야. 이럴 때 영어에서는 this is a work of art 이렇게 표현을 해요. 그냥 this is art 이러면은 뭐 미술? 예술? 조금 어색하게 들려요. 영어에서는 그때 this is a work of art. 와, 이 뭐 디저트가 it's a work of art. 너무나 예술적으로 맛있게 잘 만들었어. 그럴 때 쓰는 거고요. 그다음에 ever sold at auction.
Yeah, when we use ever, it's like a time period, like forever would be like the time period from now until forever.
Yeah.
Whereas ever, we could also use it up until now. So when we're talking about it's been the greatest ever. So up until now, it's the greatest that there's ever been. So here it's saying that it's the most expensive ever sold. So up until now, it's been the most expensive.
그래요. 그러니까 지금까지 팔린 것 중에서 가장 비싸다는 뜻으로 the most expensive ever sold at auction 경매에서 다시 읽어보겠습니다. A painting by Gustav Klimt titled Portrait of Elizabeth Lederer has sold for a record-breaking $236.4 million, making it the most expensive work of modern art ever sold at auction. Let's move on. This is our final headline.
The UK government is set to ban the resale of live event tickets for profit in a bid to crack down on touts and resale platforms that often list music, theater, comedy, and sports tickets well above face value, according to local news outlets.
영국 정부는 음악, 연극, 코미디, 스포츠 행사의 입장권을 액면가보다 훨씬 높게 책정하는 암표상 및 재판매 플랫폼을 단속하기 위해 앞으로 이와 같은 행사의 입장권을 영리 목적으로 재판매하는 것을 금지할 방침인 것으로 전해졌습니다. Tell us more.
Yeah, so they're saying that prices are typically 50% more than the retail value. So they're trying to get rid of that. A lot of artists, Sam Fender, Dua Lipa, and Coldplay, for instance, have been outspoken about trying to get rid of the resale of tickets. So
Yeah, because I mean, fans will go to great lengths to go to these concerts, but sometimes maybe they're paying a little too much if they're going through touts.
Touts, yeah. So actually, this is the first time that I've heard this, and I'm wondering if it's a British term.
It might be, but I'm not familiar with it either, actually.
Yeah. But I mean, it does say that it's essentially a person who will resell tickets for profit on the secondary market or the black market.
Yeah.
In North America, we call them scalpers. I don't know if you've heard that one
I
before.
have, actually.
Okay,
yeah,
so you've heard scalper. Okay, so when I saw that, I was like, I wonder if that's a British term.
But I feel like tout would be the British term. I've only heard of scalper because I've been, exposed to North American English for such a long time. But I feel like, I think you're right there. 자, 여기서 말하는 tout, tout라는 게 scalper랑 같은 말인데요. 암표상입니다. 자, to crack down on touts라고 했으니까요. 이런 암표상을 단속하겠다라는 거겠죠. And what's face value?
Face value is the original price of something or what you expect something to be valued at.
Yep.
Now, we can also hear this in terms of taking somebody, a person, at face value, meaning that if they say something, then, okay, you understand that what they're saying is exactly how it's going to be. Because sometimes you might say something, somebody might lie about something, somebody might have their information mixed up. So things like that, it can be used in conversation as well.
Sure. 자, 여기서 말하는 face value, 액면가죠. 다시 헤드라인 읽어보겠습니다. The UK government is set to ban the resale of live event tickets for profit in a bid to crack down on touts and resale platforms that often list music, theatre, comedy and sports tickets well above face value, according to local news outlets. 자, 이렇게 해서 오늘의 헤드라인 자세히 살펴봤습니다.